Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the February 25th, 2016 meeting of the Kern County Planning Commission. It looks like we have a quorum, and so I'll call this meeting to order. Madam Clerk, will you please call roll?
Mr. Louis?
Here.
Mr. Babcock? Ms. Garcia?
Here.
Ms. Poole? Mr. Sprague?
I am present.
Mr. Hall?
Here.
Ms. Ovia? Mr. Denny?
Here.
Mr. Murphy?
Here. Thank you. Let's move on to item B, Commission member announcements or reports. Any announcements or reports?
I would make a referral to staff to get an update on the dairy EIR from the planning director for this planning commission so that we know where that stands and where we're going with it and approximately how long it's going to be before we get it in front of us, so that we can make proper planning in our schedules. Thank you.
And I guess this question would be for Mr. Murphy or Mr. Denny. Would that be at the next meeting, the report on that?
Commissioner Louis, yeah, we can have an update at the next meeting.
Thank you. All right, any other announcements or reports? Seeing none, let's move on to our approval of minutes. It looks like we have 2 minutes to approve. Let's start with the January 28th, 2016 minutes. Are there any corrections or revisions?
I move to approve the minutes.
There's a motion by Commissioner Garcia.
Second.
Second by Commissioner Sprague. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? Motion carries for those minutes. Let's move on to the February 11th, 2016 minutes. Are there any corrections?
Motion.
There's a motion by Commissioner Sprague.
Second.
Second by Commissioner Garcia. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstention? Motion carries for the February 11th minutes. Okay, let's move on to cases withdrawn or requests for continuances, and that's number 2 and 3. Mr. Murphy?
Yes, Mr. Chairman, we have 2 cases this evening that our staff is recommending continuance. The first is conditional use permit number 6, zone variance number 4, map 12922. The applicant is the Twin Oaks Community Church by Dale Ripley. Staff is recommending that project be continued to March 24th, 2016. The second case is SBA 15, zone change 32, CUP 26, map 238. That is the Willow Spring Solar Project by Willow Spring Solar LLC. Staff is recommending that project be continued to your next hearing on March 10, 2016.
Thank you.
I would make a motion to approve that if there's no comments from anyone.
Motion by Commissioner Sprague.
Second.
Second by Commissioner Garcia. Please cast your votes.
All ayes.
All right, thank you. Moving on to the consent agenda. Consent agenda items 1, 4, and 5. Mr. Murphy?
All right, thank you, Mr. Chairman. These are items scheduled before your commission, which are being recommended for approval by staff. The applicant has been informed of any special conditions and has no objection. The hearing on these items may be expedited if no member of the commission or audience wishes to ask any comments or ask questions. The 3 items on consent calendar tonight. The first is item number 1. That is conditional use permit number 13, map number 19617. The applicant is the Mojave Chamber of Commerce by Doug Clipperton and William Deaver. The project is located at 15811 K Street in Mojave. The specific request is a conditional use permit for a railroad caboose and an office building in a C2PD FPS district. The staff recommendation is to approve in accordance with the recommended conditions and adopt the suggested findings as set forth in the draft resolution. The next item on consent is item number 4. That is zone change case number 187, map 101, conditional use permit number 135, map 101. The applicant in this particular project is Mensa Properties 2 LP by John Ritchie. This project is located at Driver Road and Rosedale Highway in Northwest Bakersfield. The project before your commission is a change in zone classification from C2PD to A, or a more restrictive district. and a conditional use permit to allow an agricultural use in an E 2.5 RS and an E 1/4 district. Your commission should be advised that an addendum was provided to you this evening. The addendum specifically identifies some revised conditions to 3B, conditions 3D, conditions 3P, 3Q, and 3R. The purpose of those revisions were to specifically specify that those conditions applied to nut trees, and then to provide some additional clarifications as to access to the site and when solid screening is and is not required. The revised conditions do not change any of the environmental analysis or impact associated with that project, but it does have a revised condition, or sorry, a revised recommendation. The staff recommendation at this point is to advise your commission to recommend to the Board of Supervisors to approve the zone change as requested, approve the conditional use permit subject to revised conditions, and adopt the suggested findings as set forth in the draft resolution. And finally, case number 5 this evening is General Plan Amendment number 7, map 28, conditional use permit number 9, map 28. The applicant is HM Holloway, Inc. This project is located on the southwest side of Holloway Road at GP Road in Bakersfield. The project itself is to amend the land use, open space, and conservation element of the Kern County General Plan from map code 8.4210 to map code 3.4210 on 29 acres, from map code 8.3210 to map code 3.4210 on 1 acre, from map code 8.3 to map code 3.4.1 on 70 acres, from map code 8.4 to map code 3.4.1 on 2 acres, from map code 8.4 2.10 to map code 3.4.1 2.10 on approximately 27 acres, from map code 8.3210 to map code 3.4.1 210 on approximately 29 acres or a more restrictive district. The project also includes an amendment to Appendix E of the Kern County General Plan to replace the HM Holloway Solid Waste Facilities map. And finally, the request includes a modification of conditional use permit number 9, map 28, which allowed a Class 3 non-hazardous industrial waste landfill to amend project boundaries and conditions that will allow for the relocation of required monitoring equipment and adjustment of the facility closure date in an A district. Your commission should be advised this proposal does not include any request that would increase the total disposal capacity or location of the disposal pits to the previously approved project. The staff recommendation is to advise your commission to recommend to the Board of Supervisors to adopt the Section 15091 findings and Section 15093 Statement of Overriding Considerations, adopt the Mitigation Measure Monitoring Program, approving the General Plan Amendment as requested, approve amendment to Appendix E of the Kern County General Plan, approve modification of the conditional use permit 9, map 28 as requested, subject to recommended conditions of approval, and adopt the suggested findings as set forth in the draft resolution. That completes the reading of the consent calendar.
Thank you, Mr. Murphy. Is there anyone in the audience who would like to have one of the consent agenda items, number 1, 4, or 5, removed from the consent agenda to be heard in its normal course at full hearing? No, seeing none. Would any commissioners like to do that?
No, but I'm
Seeing
prepared to
none?
make a motion.
Is there a motion by Commissioner Sprague? Go ahead.
Yeah. I would make a motion on items number 1, 4, and 5 as read into the record by staff, and ask staff to read the notice of right of appeal.
Second.
There's a motion by Commissioner Sprague, a second by Commissioner Garcia. Please cast your votes.
All ayes.
Thank you. And I don't think there is a,
There is for item number 1.
for number 1?
Yeah.
Please.
For projects where the Planning Commission action is final, those actions are subject to appeal to the Board of Supervisors by any interested person, and no development proposed by any application may be authorized until the final date of appeal. Again, for those in attendance, that applies to item number 1 this evening. An appeal may be filed with the Kern County Planning and Community Development Department located at 2700 M Street, Suite 100 in Bakersfield, with a filing fee of $540 on forms available at the Planning and Community Development Department. That filing must be made within 14 days of and including the date of tonight's hearing.
All right, thank you, Mr. Murphy. Let's move on to item F, public presentations. This portion of the meeting is reserved for persons desiring to address the commission on any matter not on this agenda and over which the commission has jurisdiction. Speakers are limited to 2 minutes. Are there any people in the audience who would like to address our commission? Seeing none, let's move on to adjournment. And our next Planning Commission meeting is scheduled for March 10th, 2016. Is there a motion to adjourn?
Move. I move to,
There's a motion to adjourn.
yes.
We covered, 2 and 3 we covered. Second.
There's a motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries, and we are adjourned. Thank you.